Okay. First of all, welcome to the Love Series. We are starting this off today because Spirit told me to start it off today. And I had the energy or the inkling to get up and do the live. Like everybody was ready for this shift that's happening for the month of July. The month of July is about sowing seeds. It's about experiences. It's about uncovering. It's about remembering who you are. It's about unlocking the door to love, right? Welcome, welcome. So, this is going to be a new chapter for everybody. A new chapter of how to pour into yourself, a new chapter of how to love yourself, a new chapter of how to experience this human side of living, right? You've done a lot of work in survival. You've done a lot of work in overcoming. You've done a lot of work in healing, right? Healing, moving past what happened to you previously, moving into new avenues. So we're starting this love series. So I'm going to be on live every day. Okay. Every day for 14 days straight. It's a commitment to my own journey, a commitment to the work that I do, a commitment to you guys. And so it's important that I follow through with what Spirit's telling me that I need to step into. Okay. And so each day is going to be a little different, a little bit of a challenge for each person. I'm going to post details on my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, and my Facebook. So you know exactly how this process is going to go. If you don't want to be in the series, the love series itself, as far as the full commitment, including the classes that I will have, on some of these days, like I'll have some lives and some Zooms and some classes and some meditations. Those things are extra and you can drop into them as you see fit, or you can be a part of the whole series. Okay. The series is 200, but it's an investment, right? An investment in yourself, daily work, an investment with me coming in and tuning into you, right? And helping you understand where you may still be hung up on things of the past, where you still may have trust issues, where you still may be not seeing the bigger picture of who you are, where you maybe had forgotten parts of yourself, so therefore you're not able to really fully move into the new chapter because you're missing a piece, a component of who and what you are. So this is how we are going to move this energy forward. Okay. So like I said, I'll be on every day for the live, but I will have classes that I will do on the similar days, not necessarily every day, but I will send out the schedule of what the classes will look like. This is meant to help you unlock and remember parts of your existence and your love, and to grow in your energy and your love. So what we're focusing on today, okay, as the beginning of our love series, is we're working on grief. We're working on grief. We're working on loss. We're working on, I want to say lack, but it's not because you're lacking. It's because there's a part of your heart that still is damaged from the work that was done to it, right? Meaning the people that didn't reciprocate the love back to you the way that you poured it into them. For the people who didn't show up when you maybe needed somebody, right? The parts of you that felt like wrong, or maybe you carried some sort of shame or hurt because of what you weren't able to experience or go through or live in. Okay. So today we're going to be pouring into the heart. We can't move forward in a love series if your heart is leaking. Okay. Hello, hello. If your heart is leaking, your heart is lacking what it needs, then how can you pour into yourself? How can you fill your cup up completely? How can you move forward and accept love coming in? How can you operate and start to enjoy the blessings that are meant for you if you can't accept the blessing of love? Okay? Love is on multiple scopes. It's not even just relationship, right? Love is your joy. Love is your money. Love is your passion. Love is your self-worth. those areas may need adjustment and tools and workings and movements and all those good things. Okay, so today we are going to answer questions. So for those of you guys that are in here that are like, okay, are we going to get to questions? Are we going to answer some questions today? We are. But I do need you to tune in and lock in. So I'm going to create this open space for whoever comes into the live today, okay? All the people that come in this live today are wanting to devote to their energy of love. They're wanting to find some element of love or truth in love. You may be confused about your connections or your relationships. You may feel lost in ways about your own journey. You might feel the achiness in your heart, meaning that you've been through different trials and tribulations, different levels of hurt, different levels of loss, and you have protected yourself, right? Because some of you guys are not dating, or some of you guys are dating, but you're protecting yourself in so many ways because there's still that level of, I don't want to say agony. That's the word that comes to mind though. That level of agony, that level of distrust, that level of heartbreak. So it's safer for you to double down on yourself. It's safer for you to date people that you don't really like, because in a way it's a safety mechanism. Okay. If I date somebody that I know is not really my person, or there's red flags, or there's, they're not safe in different components, it feels like doable because I can always cut it off. I can always walk away. I can always, you know what I'm saying? If they disappoint me and they cheat or they lie or whatever, it's easy for me to cut it off because I really wasn't that invested. I really wasn't that interested in that person. I really wasn't in love with them. It's a safety thing. Okay. So some of you guys have that mechanism. Some of you guys don't want to date at all. Some of you are in relationships, but you're constantly questioning what the relationship is, why you're in it. Does it make sense? Is this my person? It's the questioning part. And that all comes from leakage in your heart space, in your heart chakra. Okay. So we're going to work on clearing and healing that heart space. So what I want you guys to ask, okay, for you guys that are on the live who have questions, okay? So we're going to do some questions. I want you to ask your question, but I want you to ask it after you sit with yourself for a moment, okay? So sit with yourself. You can even put your hands over your heart space. I want you to tune into your heart, and then I want you to ask a question from your heart space. And what I'm asking for is I'm asking you to ask a question that is going to heal a crack, heal a brokenness, heal a lack in your heart space. So tell me, what's the first question that comes to mind after I ask you to tune into your heart and to ask a question from a space of where you are broken, where you are lacking, where you are grieving, and where there's loss. Throw it into the group, throw it into the live, okay? Tune in. And for those of you guys that will be watching this after the live for me to post it, still put your question in the live, right? Watch the video and put your question in so that we can answer those too, because everybody deserves to have a chance to understand where they're held up, where their lack is coming from. All right. Jack, where's Jill? I love it. Will we be okay? Even you saying that, I don't know if you can feel the energy of it, the intensity of it, of saying, will we be okay? Because your heart space felt like such a level of fear. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like not wanting to know, because if it's not going to be what you want it to be, it's going to crush your whole world, right? Kind of almost an idea of like you living in, I want to say like in a cracked house, right? A glass house where it's like one rock, one thing gets thrown in, and then everything else might start to break down, or it leaves so much vulnerability, because if you live in a glass house and someone breaks a window, it's very easy for them to access you. So there's a lot of fear in what you're talking about, but this is what I want. This is what I want you guys to tune into. This is what I want you to think about. So to answer your question, Spirit says yes. Will we be okay? Yes. Will it take effort? Yes. Is it possible to grow in this love? Yes. Is this the right connection? Yes. It's all of the things that you need it to be for the state in your world right now. But you're going to have to start to clean up those cracks where your heart has been broken. You're going to have to go in and start putting in some sealant to start to heal those pieces of that. And knowing that you can trust yourself, knowing that you're not crazy, knowing that you're not wrong is the start. Okay? Good question. All right. Kamal, do you see me and Krishna reconciling or someone new? So this is a little bit different because this question is not really coming from your heart space. It's coming from your head. Okay? It's coming from your head because it's something that you keep questioning. I don't want to move forward and, open up the door to somebody new if there's still a chance with this person because I gave them so much opportunity. I opened up such a space for this relationship, and I want to make sure that this is not going to come around in order for me to be able to make the transition or movement forward into the new connection. Okay? So it's mental, it's not necessarily healing your heart space, but they go hand in hand, which tells me that you're not addressing your emotions. You're not dealing with how your heart feels about it. You're trying to be logical about it so you don't choose the wrong thing again to cause you more heartache. Okay. To answer your question, they're saying no as far as reconciling. There's not even showing really much of an option anymore. There might have been more of an option previously, but the longer the time is kind of spanning out, the more and more it feels like it's just not coming together. And there's always somebody connected, somebody new that can come through. Depends on yourself. But you can't get all that together if you're not willing to go in and feel your emotions out for what they are. Always in your head. So we need to bring you back in, okay? Yes, trust myself. You are so welcome. Okay, let's see. We were at Joanna. How could he betray me like that? Ooh. Now that's a heart piece, and that's a heartbreak. He's not the first person to betray you. So when you ask that question, how could he betray me like that? It's like you gave him a chance, but that hole from being betrayed in the past was never healed up. So even going into a new relationship, you're leaving the door open for you to keep being betrayed. Okay? Not because you deserve it, not because you're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's because that piece has never been healed, so you're almost preparing for it. You're embracing impact, right? Like you're going down in a plane and you're like, okay, I gotta, prepare myself for this hurt to happen again because I already know this hurt. I already know this dysfunction in the plane, just to give you kind of an analogy. So Spirit's saying for this, it's time to let it go. You can feel it in your heart because that betrayal is so deep, so skin deep, and we have to pull it out from the roots. So what I want you to do, Joanna, and I'll answer the question also. What I want you to do is I want you to analyze, or I want you to think about, because betrayals that we go through symbolize betrayals that we have within ourselves. So at what point during your first betrayal, the first person that betrayed you, and it goes back to your parents, but I can see relationships after that, betray. I want you to go back to that deeper betrayal. And I want you to think about how you betrayed yourself first, okay? What I mean by that is that you have a big heart. And so there was something that was inkling to you, even as a kid, that didn't quite sit well with you, right? With kind of like how your parents' situation is, or kind of like how your mom would handle things with men. And you didn't trust the situation, but you kind of went against your own intuition, right? Against what you thought was true or what you could do because you were a kid. You didn't have a choice, right? Or didn't feel like you had a choice to like speak up for yourself or say what you need to say, or you were kind of told like, girl, stop, don't say nothing, shh, that type of thing. So for you, the betrayal part really comes into how could you keep allowing people to come in that go against what you know is true. Okay. So to answer your question about him specifically, how can he betray you like that? He's betrayed himself over and over again. He doesn't value himself. He doesn't value what he has with people. He's kind of just always looking for something that feels good or the next best thing. Okay. If you're looking for the next best thing, it's because you're looking for instant gratification. You're not looking for love. So that's how he could betray you. It's not because you're not a good person. It's not because you didn't love him the right way. It's not because you weren't, exciting enough. It has to do with him constantly chasing and chasing and chasing because he doesn't want to deal with the real emotions and acceptance that he deserves someone to love him the right way. How you got betrayed is because each time someone's come in and you didn't pay attention to those red flags, you didn't listen to yourself or your intuition, you betrayed yourself to try to get that love or fulfill that love that's been missing since you were younger, since you were a child. So you're going to have to choose to release it. And you can do that now. It's an acknowledgement. It's saying to yourself, I'm sorry that I didn't listen to our intuition. I'm sorry that I didn't see us enough or love us enough to not keep walking down the same path with the men that we've had previously, or to call out bullshit when we notice something doesn't go well or doesn't make sense for our relationships. So this is what you want to do for yourself. You want to tell yourself that you forgive you, that you're sorry, right? Say it to you. I'm sorry that we're going through this. I'm sorry that this man can't see our value and our worth. I'm sorry that I allowed him to think that he was something more than what maybe he really was, right? So that's where you want to apologize to yourself and forgive yourself. And then you're going to go ahead and tell yourself, thank you for the lesson, because you're ready to move forward and find real connection. Thank you for the lesson. And then you're going to pour love back in. Okay. And you're going to reset this whole system so that it doesn't happen again. Makes sense? I wish I could say something to him to make my peace, but I don't know if it will do any favors. But yeah, it was. Yeah. And think about this. Closure does not come from another person. Closure comes from yourself. People always think they need to have that last conversation with someone, or they need to hash it out or do that last thing and it's gonna fix it. And it doesn't. Sometimes it makes you even more caught up in it or more pissed off because you're expecting them to have a certain type of reaction because they hurt you and because they won't let themselves feel love or have their heart be open to that experience. They're going to say something stupid or silly and it's going to piss you the fuck off. Let's be honest. It's going to piss you off and you're going to be like, this is a waste of my energy and time. So give yourself the closure. Right? If there's something that you feel like you needed to say to him or something that you needed to call out because it's pissing you off, say it to yourself. Record it as a voice memo, yell it out loud, write it down and burn it up. Whatever you need to do to give yourself that closure, and then go through and release the betrayal behavior. Okay? This is important. This is important for whoever finds this video or whoever is on the live, because every single person has some sort of leakage, right? Some sort of cracks or holes in your heart space. Maybe not. Maybe some of you guys have been very honest with yourselves and you have really built up that self-love and that self-worth. And so you don't really have a lot of leakage. But I put the intention for the people that are here today that they have some sort of leakage, whether it's because they weren't loved enough, whether it's because they were hurt in the past, whether it's because you've had such an open heart and you've been disappointed. There's lots of things. That's why today's lesson today is about the grieving process, the loss process, understanding where the cracks are and healing them up so that we're not allowing things to continue to build on top of leak. That means we keep pouring love back in, or we keep letting love back in, but then there's always seepage. We don't want it to be seeped. We don't want to have things continue to take out of us, which means we get lost in our own self-love journey because we're not focused on us. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations. Send me some of that baby juice my way. Are you pregnant? Hold on. Did I miss that? You've been reading a baby for me and I found out that I'm pregnant. Amber. Okay. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. You know, this is important for you too, because bringing this new baby into this universe, into the space, and trusting again. Does it make sense? Trusting again. This is what you're on right now, is learning to trust again, how to open your heart back up, how to move forward when you've already been betrayed by this person. Does it make sense? And I know you've been working on it, and you've been releasing it, and you've been, you know what I'm saying, breaking pieces down, and clearing out the what happened before, pain and suffrage. But there's still pieces in there. That's the reason why you're here. And you were the first one on here. So it's definitely Spirit saying, okay, Amber, we got a baby coming. Okay, Amber, we got this relationship that's brewing. Are you going to give it a real chance? Are you going to start fresh? Can you forgive fully? Because that's another piece of your holes in your heart space. Can you forgive fully? Okay? Because you haven't fully forgiven him. Okay? And that's going to be a piece of your trauma, where you're at. You know what I'm saying? What a love. Texas Star, welcome back. So we're doing a love series today, okay? For you guys that are just hopping on or joining in. What this looks like is, I want you to tune in to your heart, okay? And I want you to think about what you're carrying, the load you're carrying, the grief you're carrying, the loss that you've gone through. And then I want you to ask a question that comes to your forefront, right? From your heart. You can either hold your heart space or just tune into your heart. And then I want you to ask a question from that space of your heart. And I guarantee you, whatever question you ask is going to give somebody, whoever else comes across this live, or whoever else comes across this video, because I'm going to post it, it's going to also give that person some sort of truth or answer that they're looking for, because everybody has been through so many levels of trauma through their heart. So I want you to think about what your question is. And there's no wrong question. There's no dumb question. Whatever question you say is because that's what your heart needs to hear, the answer that you need to hear in order for you to seal up whatever leakage you may have still in your heart space. Okay? So let's see. I think I missed Bree's question. Let me go back up. I'm thinking about it. Hold on, Bree. I got you. And then I got you next, Texas Star. How can I completely rid myself of any fear, doubt that a good guy like my future partner exists? It's funny, because when I tune into that question, the fear is not from your heart. Your heart is very open to trusting and believing that there's a love like that. But your head, your mind is not, what's the word? What is that word when you're working together in conjunction? Cooperating. Your mind is not cooperating. Your mind is in that fear factor, or not knowing exactly, you know what I'm saying, what it is that your head needs to do. So I need you to think about why your head wants to continue to pull that truth up, especially after the work that we did on Monday, right? Why does your head want to go into that narrative of the fear, like that it's not possible, it doesn't exist? Because your heart is open to it. So it's not really a leak or a crack in your heart space. It's more of almost a narrative that keeps playing over and over in your head. So we want to stop it and delete it. So each time that you have a fear, Bree, each time that you have a fear come up, or each time that you question it, I want you to stop yourself. I want you to erase that thought. And then I want you to take a moment to envision a good guy, to envision a love, to envision a possibility of someone that could be all those things. Okay? I want you to let yourself have that envisionment, because that's how you're going to be able to overcome it. It's a mental block. It's not a lack of love, or of scarcity, or a fear around love piece. Okay, hold on one second.